Asante sana.
Yeah, so I want you to look at this camera and just welcome our viewers to join us in this conversation. Then we dive straight into the discussions.
Great. Thank you so much, Pastor Gigi. Always an honor being part of such conversations.
Yes.
My name is Monene Gedera, and I am the founder of People Brands. And at People Brands, we transform brands for business growth. Yes.
Right. Yeah, so Munene, karibu sana. Karibu sana. So, man of few words. I think you do more in maybe thinking through, helping people think through their brands, helping people to, leverage, create value. I think one of the things I noticed, and this is where I want us to start from, as you tell us, how you got started on your journey in this particular area. I want us to eventually talk about the link between developing strong brands and developing strong businesses, and that the two need to go together. So you can have a strong brand but a weak business, or you can have a big business but a very weak brand. So why that is important to actually develop the two together, so that then as you grow, then you create more opportunity for yourself. But before you get there, let's talk about how you got started off in this. What fascinates you about developing brands?
I think how it really started off, it was back in 2019.
Right.
And I love consuming data.
Yes.
Because data has a lot of opportunities in it. So in 2019, I was going through a report by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Yes.
And they wanted to find out of the over 7 million MSMEs Kenya had back then.
Yes.
Why are so many here being 85% of MSMEs, why are they closing down before their 4th or 3rd birthday?
Right.
So they came up with 10 reasons. And to my surprise, at number 3 was marketing constraints.
Yes.
And they were saying that out of the 85% MSMEs that fail,
yes,
18% do so because of marketing constraints.
Okay.
And they went further to break down what those marketing constraints are.
Yes.
That is knowledge. MSMEs don't have the right knowledge to keep their brands on fire.
Yes.
Number 2 is the budget.
Yes.
MSMEs don't have the budgets to keep their marketing consistent. And then number 3 is the data.
Right.
MSMEs don't have the right insights to help them improve their businesses, sustain them and scale them.
Okay.
So this was a revelation for me. In the marketplace, they call it a light bulb moment. It was a big revelation for me. Nilifanya mahesabu haraka, and I was like, 18% of the 85% of 7.2 million was quite a good number.
Yes.
A good market.
Yes.
So I told myself I'll start with the first 2 constraints.
Yes.
The knowledge and the budgets.
Okay.
So back then we started developing what is now called the brand transformation curriculum.
Okay. Okay.
Brand transformation curriculum. Very resourceful to micro, small and medium enterprises.
Yes.
So we give them snackable knowledge.
Yes.
Knowledge they can implement the next day, the next hour, the next minute, in reference to their brand journey.
Okay.
So we developed that. I started doing walk-ins in different businesses. I used to pick an area a day. I used to say, leo naenda Parklands, and I will just walk into a random building, look at the businesses that are there, the offices. I just walk in, introduce myself, tell them I have this amazing training that is short and sweet, that can help their business to grow. And I did that for a while, and then people like organizations like USIU came in to partner with us. Organizations like Sinapis, African Management Institute, just to name a few.
Right.
They came in just to partner with us, and that really was help us to amplify that particular curriculum and the impact that it has. So that is how we have grown, and currently also people like the Kenya Private Sector Alliance also came on board, made me one of their consultants to train their pool of entrepreneurs across the country.
Right.
So that is how the journey has been, and I'd say that currently we have trained over 900 entrepreneurs.
Wow, wow.
And the ripple effect of that is that you find when an MSME is well trained on how to really improve their brand, after 8 to 12 months, they find a significant change in how their business operates, how strong the brand is, and this affects the sales. And when sales are affected positively, you find that an MSME is able to hire one or two people in 8 to 12 months. So that has been our biggest joy. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you train them and they begin to grow. They begin actually to transform quite significantly. I think that's a very, very, solid, that was really like discovering what you call a market niche.
Yes.
and giving it all your all, and in the brand transformation curriculum. I think this is amazing. So those of you that are tuned in, Mr. Munene, as he has described himself, and as he has said that if you're running a small and medium enterprise, perhaps one of your biggest problem is a knowledge about to actually build a strong and effective brand. And there is a program actually that you can actually sign up for, brand transformation curriculum. You can join the over 900 people that have been trained, and that actually will really reshape the way you do business. So Bwana Munene, I love that. I think that this is a real amazing story, that you're putting so much work to build a strong brand. All right, so let's talk about then some of the areas. I think in your experience, especially your experience in dealing with small enterprises, I really want to hear more about. So, of course, you've said that one of the challenges is knowledge, budget, and data, because most small businesses don't have the budget. They can't afford, those fancy billboards on the streets of Nairobi and all that. So the question is, how do they leverage that? So tell us why really people must invest in a strong brand. I know you have alluded to the fact that, when people go through your curriculum and their training, they actually see immediate transformation. But tell us why that becomes important in the marketplace.
Great. So I think the first thing that any business should understand is that a brand is an asset.
Okay.
Yes, and an asset is, from a business perspective, it's something that gives you consistent income.
Right.
And now from the market perspective, a brand is something that they are connected to in terms of value, in terms of solution, in terms of the community and the relationship that this particular brand helps them in. So when you have a very strong brand, you are able to convince your market that our value is the best, our solutions are the best, the connections that we give you and what we enable you to do with our solutions are things that you really need on a day-to-day basis. So having a strong brand basically is to meet that particular gap, and tell people that hey, you can trust us with what you are looking for in a particular area. And to sum it up, I'd say there's what we call your bottom line approach. And your bottom line approach is well executed by a very good brand. So we say that the more visible, the more valuable your brand is, the more visible it will be, the more engaging it will be, and the more engaging your brand is, the more sales you have. The more sales you have, the more profits you will see, and the more profits you will see, the more growth you will experience.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Strong brands create, of course, visibility.
Yes.
I mean, I know we are just stopping short of giving examples,
Yes.
because I know we are not here to promote one particular brand, but I think it might be helpful to give an example of some of the household brands that we know about, and just help people actually process that, see that it really does help to be visible.
Yes.
We can even take straightforward Broadway bread. I mean,
Yes.
everybody will go in the morning and buy some bread. And there are a couple of options available on the shelves, including supermarkets have actually jumped into that space, and they're also selling their own, they're baking and selling bread in the supermarket. Yet the guys who actually have factories out there and they come and actually deliver their ready-made bread on the same shelves, they seem to be selling just fine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the kind of example I'm thinking about. I don't know. Maybe you can give us an example of maybe a client you worked with and how they have transformed their brand.
Great. I'd give an example of one of our clients. They're called Discovery Chinese Cultural Center.
Right.
And what they do, they teach the Chinese language and the culture here in Kenya. And so, they also saw an opportunity, a few years back, of how China was developing, how China was becoming an economic power in the world, and so this will have a very big ripple effect in so many economies. And so they started the school here in Kenya, and they were like, for us to really reach our market, have an impact on people, we really have to be, our brand has to be well developed, our brand has to be well promoted. And then when the brand is well promoted, now we need to understand how to turn prospective clients into paying and satisfied customers.
Yes.
So you find such a brand comes up with, we help them to do, to come up with an identity. We help them to refine the value they take to the market. We help them to position themselves in terms of having a very good website that is well optimized, that when you first land on the website, you feel a connection, you feel the opportunities of what this brand is offering, social media marketing, so that now you can keep that engagement very consistent, things to do with digital platforms, things to do with media interviews, and so on. So this is an example of how we took that particular brand and how well known the brand is currently in the market. And now when you think of Chinese classes in Kenya, the next thing you think of is Discovery Chinese.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and you have actually identified, like the pathway. Those of you that are following this conversation, there is a very clear pathway. You begin by identifying, developing a brand identity.
Yeah.
So those are the logos, the colors, the whatever those images are. And then the value. So what value proposition are you providing? And then the positioning. Then of course now then you have to find a way of communicating that, website, social media, and then of course the whole issue of engagement.
Yeah. So maybe before the next question,
yes.
Maybe two notable examples I can give for brands.
Yes.
I'll start with Carrefour.
Yes.
What is the value that Carrefour has brought to the market?
Okay.
It's deals.
Yes.
You know, they are known for deals. You sit in committees and people are discussing where to buy things, and they're saying, we can wait for Friday for the Carrefour deals.
Yes.
So that has really stuck in our minds. And my wife really loves, Carrefour. I was even, thinking to myself, maybe when we have a second born, my wife might call her Carrefour.
Oh my goodness.
So, Carrefour has identified that particular value, and it is very aggressive to make sure that particular value is visible and engaging. The second example I'd give, butter. I think it's back to school week, and the conversation, the last 2 weeks has been, if you want good shoes, long-lasting shoes, where do you go?
Yes.
You go to Bata.
Yes.
Kiatu ikiingia form 1 inaishia form 4.
Yeah.
So that is a value that has stuck in our minds in
Okay.
relation to this particular brand.
Yes.
So they take that value, they create a relating identity to it, and then now they make sure they are visible and engaging in relation to this particular value.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So that's very interesting, and I really wish, I hope that those of you that are listening, if your business, you're serious with your business, you actually need to think very, very hard about what we are talking about, because we are talking about how you actually, I like the idea of the linking the value and the brand identity, and then how you engage, looking for the opportunities. Yeah, so because if you are in the market, you must be offering value.
Yes.
So, and you must know what value you are offering.
Yes, that is non-negotiable.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And it's sometimes difficult. Sometimes you can go into the market and you're not very sure. You just kind of rolling with everybody else. So if you don't identify that unique value, then you fail at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So working with MSMEs and training them, consulting with them. I think there is this sense. You see, when you listen to the conversations, you always hear people talking about how the economy is hard, things are so tough. Biashara ni mbaya. I want you to address that matter. Is business as bad as people are talking? Or that's the Morima people, Mount Kenya people's way of just discouraging those who are out there from joining the competition?
Murima imeguzwa.
Yes.
There are few perspectives to that particular narrative.
Yes.
Number one is to appreciate that, yes, times can be hard. Number two is to understand that seasoned business people can use that particular language or narrative to push another narrative of where perhaps we don't want to pay you on time. Perhaps we have another agenda. And so because of that, when you come to me, I will spread the narrative that, you know, times are really hard, so pesa hakuna. Yeah, so those are the two things. You have to look at it from the, you know, angle of, you know, yes, times can be hard, and then on the other hand, business people can take advantage of that to push their own agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's surprising. Okay, so let's tell me, what is your feel right now? Where do you feel the business environment is, given the very rather interesting political climate we are in? Yeah, so how bad is the business environment? Are there, and where are the opportunities for growth, and where are the challenges? Where, you know, what's hurting and where are the opportunities? I mean, it's a broad question, but perhaps you've been picking up some of these areas, and when you're working with you know, your clients, you're able to advise them, look, this area, there are challenges, but here is where the opportunities are.
Great.
Yeah.
I'd say currently, I'd say the Kenyan business market, and this is my opinion.
Yeah.
The Kenyan business market is generally suffering from hopelessness, and this hopelessness, you know, comes from the political situation that we are experiencing. You know, day in, day out, there are things that come up in the news that you know, spread fear to the business environment, you know, spread hopelessness to the business environment. You know, people are wondering, you know, what are the next few months going to look like in terms of things to do with how we operate our businesses, you know, taxes, you know, and finances and all that. So I'd say that is an area the government really needs to do better. I heard somewhere that one of the biggest business of government is to sell hope, is to give hope to its citizens. Right. And so now the Kenyan government is doing the opposite. You know, they have not been giving us hope for the last, you know, two years and more. So the hopelessness is what is driving all this panic. And so with this panic, you find that businesses are shying off from taking risks. Businesses are shying off from expanding. Businesses are shying off from hiring, and so forth. So if the government can really come in to help in that particular aspect, you find that business will become more hopeful, you know, take more risks, you know, and that will have a bigger and a better ripple effect in the economy. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a very huge task, and I guess maybe we have just behaved ourselves into that scenario, because we've not ended our fights right from the day you know, this government came into power. We've just been fighting each other all the way. Last year was very, very traumatic. We haven't recovered. I think the grudges and the positions you know, the people are strengthening their position. It's been a very, very tough time. All right, so if you're running a business, you know, you're feeling like you're in a tight corner, I'm going to be asking my guest here, Mr. Munene, to tell us where the opportunities are. Because you see, in the midst of the revolution, you may actually find there are opportunities, but they are not where you think they are. Perhaps it's even that same fear and hopelessness maybe need to be packaged and branded and cleaned up and sold. So, yeah, I mean, really, maybe this is the best time to sell insurance, you know. If people are worried about too many things, maybe sell them insurance. Anyway, so I'm saying that on a light note, because I think business people are very, very intelligent. Most of the people are always snipping out sniffing out for opportunities, you know, chini ya maji. You know, while people are talking, other people are looking at where the opportunities are. And so that's an area that I would like you to be coming to as we come to a short break. But before we go, maybe the counter narrative. What's the counter narrative to this fear, hopelessness, panic, and all that?
Great. The counter narrative to that is basically how entrepreneurs are being innovative, and so you find that amidst everything that is going on, entrepreneurs are being as innovative as possible, understanding where the customers are shifting their attention to, and then going ahead and providing value and solutions in that particular direction. And so you find now businesses are able to, you know, continue surviving and thriving in the middle of all this hopelessness. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we'll return to that. We'll look at some of the, you know, where the attention is shifting. We will maybe be a little bit more specific on that. We take a short break. Please don't go away. We are talking about the small and medium enterprises and how you can leverage, you can deal with some of the uncertainties and the challenges in the business environment. And you're getting very, very solid advice. So keep it here, keep it here. Let's take a short break. We're coming back to this conversation. Before we went to the break, we were talking about you know, some of the challenges that are existing in the business environment. Fear, hopelessness, panic. You know, apparently the last 2 years have been very, very difficult because in the political arena, a lot of the conversation that is going on in the political arena has infected, I would say infection, has infected the business environment in a way that, you know, it's very difficult to have hope, you know, kind of like there's a lot of there are a lot of things that are not in their rightful place. Yes. And then of course fear that taxes are going to even get worse. They are, maybe the healthcare will collapse, you know, and so many things that people are afraid that are going to get worse over time. But before we went to the break, Munene, we were talking about business is about innovation. It's about thinking critically and strategically. So I think I want you to open up that space and tell us what you think businesses can do. In your interaction in business, you're working with very many small businesses. What actually people are doing in the market despite the hard economic times, and maybe this is a lesson for those who are maybe out there in the periphery panicking and they're wondering whether to get in or stay out.
Fantastic. What I've seen, the framework I'm seeing working, number one is I'm seeing businesses defining how exactly the economic times are affecting their businesses. It could be, is it operational? Are the tough times affecting my operations? Are they affecting my finances? Are they affecting sales? So you first of all define how the tough economic times are affecting you. And then now when you understand that, you go to the next step of researching. And I like what you said during the break, that business people are very intelligent. I like to say that entrepreneurs will have a special space in heaven. Very special, because they are super intelligent. So you find entrepreneurs are able to tell, this is where the market is heading. This is where the customers are heading. This customer behavior is because of 1, 2, 3, and this 1, 2, 3 is because of the tough economic times. So it's up to us as a business to, you know, create or recreate products that are in line with the shifts that we are seeing in the market and with the customers. Then from there you I'm seeing businesses diversifying in terms of the markets that they are going for. Number one, you look at other countries that are not experiencing tough times.
Right.
So for example, you're in Kenya and you're a digital strategist, you can decide to focus your services, in South Asia or South America or North America, and you'll find that when you're aggressive with finding that new market, global new market, you will not only attract new customers, but customers who are not currently being affected by your current business environment.
That's true.
And then finally is innovation. My best part.
Yes.
In this framework.
Yes.
And this innovation is where businesses start asking themselves, how can we really come up with products, services that people will consume religiously? And how can we also, the things that we are complaining about in our business environment, whether government related or private sector related, how can we actually offer solutions to these particular challenges? For example, there's a brand that is doing the dish in a county.
Yes.
By, I believe she's called Wawera. She came up with she saw a gap in the feeding program. The government was not meeting that gap. She decided to actually come up with a business that offers that solutions. And so right now she is very well known across the globe. She has a lot of funding. She has a lot of impact. And so with that particular innovation, she was able to move her organization forward. We have seen businesses, coming up with health solutions, digital health solutions, and these innovations are coming up left, right, and center.
That's true.
People asking themselves, how can we meet this gap that is being experienced as a result of the hostile environment that we are in? Others are coming in the transport space. They're asking themselves, how can we do innovations that actually meet the gaps that are in the transport industry? Others are coming up with innovations in education, and you find that now the interesting part is when you come up with an innovation, even the government comes in to partner with you.
That's true. Yeah. That is actually true.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like the idea you are saying that entrepreneurs will have a special place in heaven. I hope you picked that up, that entrepreneurs will have a very special place in heaven. Moses Okoth, good morning, great topic. Moses, asante sana for joining us this morning in this conversation. Yes. Innovations. So if you're going to be providing solutions, and again, there is something I noted here, tracking customer behavior. The idea that the opportunities are, if you can clearly see the way the customer consumption behavior is shifting, and then track it, get the data, make your own guesstimate. Sometimes you don't know exactly how deep the shift is, but you can always test it. Maybe you can put out a product and see if you have the space, see how people will respond. And sometimes you open up a very small space and then all of a sudden you discover this is a world. The need is insatiable. You cannot satisfy the market, and by the time people discover what's going on, smiling all the way to the bank.
Maybe I can I'm loving this conversation. I can give an example of Royco.
Yes.
Allow me to name brands.
No problem.
Royco have they have noticed how their market is shifting.
Okay.
Royco is not only being used in the kitchen.
Yes.
But also they have found out that people now have so many gatherings where they are grilling nyama choma and all these, So they came up with, I think last year but one, they developed, the Royco nyama choma spices and all that. And so when I went to that supermarket for the activation, I saw so many men in that line
on the queue.
On the queue,
yes.
with the Royco nyama choma spice.
Yes.
And I was like, this is very brilliant. This is very innovative. They have taken their customer behaviors and insights, and they were like, we need to come up with something for all these hangouts. We need to come up with something for the men and all these things.
And to sell a product to men is a very men are very difficult to sell to, because they are very slow consumers. And even their vote in the kitchen is not that high. So if you have this caspatio flavor for them,
yes.
So by the time they convince the family, the tribe, that make sure you carry for me that Royco.
But now you see,
yes.
They don't even have to make the decision in the kitchen.
Yes.
For example, a program like Man Enough.
Yes.
They are doing their men camp. They will automatically go and buy that particular spice because it's for nyama choma.
Right.
Yeah. So you find, I think what they did, Royco, they noticed that now there's a rise of men's gathering.
Yes.
And
yes.
when men gather, kuna nyama.
Nyama. Men and nyama gathered together.
You see, now through their insights,
yes,
they were able to come up with a value for this new market.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is what we are talking about.
No, yeah, that is absolutely, it's a very, very good example of how you can innovate a brand and create so much value. And I think even in the spice section, people are now flavoring a lot of spices, a lot of ingredients, health. There's a rising health consciousness. A lot of people are very, very keen on what they are consuming. Obviously, while Kenyans are still complaining, we can see people are eating.
Yes. People are driving. You wonder why there are so many cars.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't believe the narrative. It's true. It's true. So health conscious. So that's really amazing. So returning to the environment, you've said that we have to keep tracking customer behavior so that then we can innovate appropriately. Fear, hopelessness, panic, that's a big problem. So in your work with MSMEs, what have you observed as the most challenging? What is the most problematic challenge we have? Is it finance? Is it, say, like, for example, product absorption? You have your products, but you have nowhere to sell to. Or is it, small challenges like you supply and you don't get paid, and all that. So what are business owners complaining about?
Okay, great. I really love that question. I always like to say that businesses fail because of only two reasons.
Yes.
The first one is business leadership.
Yes.
The second one is business environment.
Okay.
Yes. So, and these two aspects have very many factors in them. So if we take the first one, business leadership.
Yes.
You find that sometimes it's not the business environment that's really bad. It's the decisions that the business is making or taking. So for example, you don't have a way of delivering efficiently. You don't have a way of managing your cash flow. You know, clients pay you, and instead of reinventing back to the business, you go and squander money in Dubai and so on. So you find that there's that aspect of business leadership. So what are the decisions you're making as a business? What are the factors that are affecting those particular actions that you're taking? So number one, businesses have to be really keen on business leadership. I always tell entrepreneurs that as you do your business analysis, also do your entrepreneur analysis. So ask yourself very tough questions. You know, am I lazy? Am I greedy? Am I shy? You know, all these questions. Do a self-analysis, and now you are able to tell where you are as a business leader, because this heavily affects the decisions and the actions you take for your business.
Right.
Then now we go to the business environment. The business environment, you find that number one, MSMEs are struggling to hire. And hiring, it's two-sided. On one side, MSMEs are afraid to hire because of the uncertainty of business. Number two, there's very the skills are not matching what MSMEs are looking for.
Yeah.
And then also you find that employees are not as engaged.
Yes.
As MSMEs would want.
Yes.
Yes. The second thing, you find that now things to do with capital. Sometimes it's hard to sustain a business without active cash flow. Sometimes you have delivered, and you know, clients haven't paid back. Sometimes you want to go to take a loan in the bank, and the bank labels you as risky. You know, MSMEs are labeled as risky.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that pain points.
Yeah.
That MSMEs are having out here. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Actually, it's been a very roller coaster. In fact, the what I would call the eternal problem of the MSMEs is the capital. That is one of the biggest challenge, because here you have your idea. Maybe you even have your mzigo.
Yes.
I'll call it mzigo because you know, sometimes some of the people, some of the businesses they are in is really you're just buying some consignment and then you know, retailing it or reselling it, repackaging and reselling. And most of the people, their only challenge is I need money to buy that stuff and come and resell, and the capital becomes the biggest constraint. But as you say, other than capital, of course, there is the, you know, the fear of, if I hire an extra person, will I be able to sustain their pay? And then, of course, the skills mismatch, which I think is a big issue, actually. And then, of course, engagement. How do you get the people you hire to engage properly? There is this now big, very popular conversation about Gen Z being very, very difficult people to work with. Very difficult to engage. To convince
allow me to say this here. The biggest pandemic MSMEs are having right now is the side hustle culture.
Okay.
Yes. And not just MSMEs.
Yes.
Even big organizations.
Yes.
The side hustle culture is really taking away from the engagement that you know, MSMEs and other businesses should be having when it comes to productivity.
Yes.
Yes. So you find you have an MSME has 4 employees. 3 of them have side hustles, so they're only giving you, you know, a very limited attention, you know, so that you find that they are not as keen as they should be in terms of delivery and all that. So you find that is a very big pandemic. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a big problem.
Yes.
A real huge problem. That the problem actually is more internal than external.
Yes.
So here you are, you have hired 10 employees, 5 employees, whatever it is, and each of them also has a small, you know, kiosk on the side. This is amazing. This is really, really amazing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as you follow this conversation. I am talking here with my friend Monene Gidera. We are talking about small and medium enterprises, the you know, how to survive hostile and uncertain environment. And I really think that what you are describing here is a real challenge. It's a real fatal problem of people. You know, you have staff, but they have so many side hustles. I don't know. Somebody needs to solve that problem. Somebody needs to solve that problem. You know, because and maybe the question is, those of you that are following this conversation, how do you live with the fact that you're working for this employer, but you only give them half of your time, because the rest of your time and attention is on this other, you know, a small farm or some other deliveries you do through Jumia and stuff like that. Monene, what ways are people resolving that issue? Have you had a discussion with some of the people? Is it come to the KEPSA discussion round tables and stuff like that? How can we solve that problem?
I think it's on one side, you know, people say that it's understandable in quotes,
yes,
because of, again, the tough economic times, because people are saying that this particular salary is not enough to, you know, sustain the kind of lifestyle that I'm living. So, you know, it requires another for me to have another side hustle that can really help me to balance my lifestyle, and so you find that organizations now investing in you know, paying their employees better, you know, having better working terms, and then, you know, being clear on the deliverables, and then now constant employee engagement in terms of feedback, in terms of training, in terms of capacity building.
All right.
So these are some of the things I have seen some organizations doing.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I know a friend of mine, Beatrice Chuchu. I saw that you had logged in on the Facebook side of things, and Beatrice is a human resource consultant, and I think that is something that is at the heart of the human resource, you know, consultancy space right now.
Yes.
There's a cry. How do you actually engage employees?
Yes.
Because of maybe the tough economic times, or the perception of the tough economic times,
Yes.
and trouble, and you know, things are crazy. This government is so bad. You know, life is so tough. So my employer just can't meet my absolute amazing needs. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for staying tuned in. Karen Kibuchi there. The show is interesting and informative. Thank you very much indeed for joining us in this conversation. Monene, before we wrap up, I would like to hear from you what advice you'd give to people that are starting new businesses, given what you already know. If somebody wants to start a new business, what is the 2 or 3 points they need to note those who are diving in. You see, we are talking about those who are already in, but there are those who are out wanting in because they also want to create this side hustle and make a little extra income. Yeah. What's your advice?
So for number one, I'd say create a lot of value.
Okay.
You know, just make sure that your value is ignorable.
Yes.
You know, it cannot be ignored.
Okay.
The value and the solutions that you will create. Number two, be compliant. Have a formal business.
Yes.
Year in, year out, the government is producing reports on the percentage of registered business versus the non-registered.
Yes.
And so you find that sometimes it's, and this is the trap I have seen MSMEs going into. They think that by not registering or formalizing your business, you're playing safe. But the playing safe, you're only limiting yourselves to very little opportunities.
Okay.
When you are a formal business, the government knows you, and you are able to transact, and you're open to more opportunities, not just in the government, but also in the private sector. Number three, I always say, ride on the shoulders of giants. Yes.
Okay.
Very important.
Yes.
And here, the giants here being relevant business associations. So ask yourself, as a business, what are the general associations I can be part of? For example, the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. It's a general association, very resourceful for businesses.
Yes. And
it has categories for all levels and types of businesses. And then you can go ahead and ask yourself, what are the industry-specific associations I can join? So, for example, if you're in tourism, can you join, I think it's called CATA. You know, they have capacity building programs. They have opportunities, you know. For example, they share opportunities. They have a WhatsApp group. They have a forum where they share opportunities constantly. And so you find that you will really leverage as a small business that is starting up when you join business associations. The next one is be very visible. Yes. So make sure that you have a website for credibility. You have social media channels for engagement and availability. You're running ads for inquiries and sales. So all this will help you to really start up well as a business that is coming into any space.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. And there you are. We are out of time, actually. We got to wrap this up. Bwana Munene, thank you so very much. I love that. You know, you have to create value. Compliance is key, and then of course the whole idea of riding on the shoulders of giants and being visible, obviously meaning building your brand and all the other nitty-gritties. Wonderful. Very, very good advice coming from Mr. Munene Githira, founder of the People Brands. Very, very wonderful and valuable skills here. And if you would like to get in touch with Mr. Munene, he can help you build your businesses and build your brand. So Mr. Munene, you have the 30 seconds on this camera just to talk to those people who would like to get in touch with you. Give them directions very quickly.
Great. 30 seconds, 10 seconds, let me do my parting shot. The biggest risk for any business that is coming up is the market not knowing you or ignoring you. Yes. So create value and be visible. So you can find us across all our social media platforms at People Brands, PIPO Brands. Our website is www.peoplebrands.com. My contact is 0727 305 261.